Hello and welcome back to eRacing Grand Prix Global Edition 5. This is the 5th season of the best sim racing championship around the Southeast Asian region. My name is Amir Azik and beside me is Alistair Young, and Alex and Des will be joining us later on in the broadcast. But today we'll be talking about the 4 races here today that will be held around the Hockenheimring. And Alistair, you probably know the circuit very well, do you?
Yeah, I know it relatively well. It's good to be back. I haven't been on a global edition for quite some time now, so I'm excited to see what's going on.
Right. And before that, we would like to thank our sponsors below here, especially Ross Langer, who have been a big part of getting this all together. And you can see the trophy behind there. Alistair, you can bring it up to show on the camera just to prove the point again.
Yep, lovely pewter trophies that we got for Endurance Edition, so thank you very much, Ross Langer.
Alright. And of course, as per usual on the menu, we got 4 races. We're starting with the Copper class. And what do you expect from this class anyway? Oh, before that, we'll go through the championship leaders in all 4 classes. Gold class at the moment is led by Josh Perwin. A bit of a mistake in his name there, so hopefully you can forgive that. Shaz Lizan, who dominated the Silver class race at the Red Bull Ring. He'll be the one to look out for as well. Bernard Chan, absolutely impervious in the Formula 3 class in Bronze. He'll be one to watch out for, and Kelvin Pao as well, who's been quick in practice as well in Copper class. And we move on then to the next screen. This is the overview of the classes that we have in the championship. In this case, up to 10th place, the top 10 in the Copper class. In this case, is Kelvin Pao, but it's only a point ahead, surprisingly, out of Kenneth Wong. So yes, early days, but it does show the competitiveness in this class as well. Moving on now to we're going almost to practice, the end of practice. In fact, we have about less than 6 minutes to go as they come around through the final corner here. Alistair, what do you expect from the Copper class? As the question that I was about to pose to you prior to the graphics we show for the championships.
After taking a look at the championship standings, I'm seeing Kelvin Pao and his decent lead over 3rd place. So yeah, I expect him to do well as well here. He's about 8 tenths off the pace, but I imagine he probably hasn't set a qualifying lap yet. Since it's so late in the practice session with 5 minutes to go, I'm guessing that these drivers are gearing up, getting ready for qualifying.
You might guess it's a bit of a banker, don't you think? Because you don't want to show your hand too early, especially the fact that you're the main target, and people just don't want to see that you're pushing it early. So it's a bit of a mental game, isn't it?
Absolutely, you need to pick your moments quite well in practice and approach the session in a different way to suss out your opponents and also get the correct strategy in fighting for further positions.
Well, one driver we'll be watching out for right now is Janssen Villanueva that we see on screen. He's fastest in the practice session at the moment by 7 tenths. I have a brand new driver for this round, Chin Wei Ren, but practice is one thing, but then you're going to have to nail it in qualifying. So Villanueva might be showing a lip pace. In fact, he's going to go even faster at the moment. He went 4 tenths up in the second sector. Coming up now to the line through the stadium section. And will this be a faster lap time? And yes, it is, by a 10th. So, actually, in fact, by 7 tenths. So 1.4 seconds ahead of the field. This guy should be really the one to watch out for, apart from Kelvin Pao. He'll be challenging for the honours here, isn't he?
Yes, I think that was the first representative low fuel run. As you can see, it's quite a fair margin quicker than the rest of the field, and he did pull off after turn 1. So I think that's pretty respective in terms of maximum quali pace.
Indeed, and we go through the rest of the field. Just now we had a look at Sage Nico for a second, and Nico was probably a bit disappointed. You can see the look at disappointment on his face at the Red Bull Ring, where he was running up in the top 5 positions before cutting the corner one too many. So one too many corner cuts, and that was it. It was enough for him to be sent out of the race. He'll be looking to avoid it this time. And you've driven at the Hockenheimring. He takes a bit of a wild turn there, going over a slight spin, coming out to the Parabolica. You've driven at Hockenheimring before prior to this, practice for E1. Where are the corners that you probably need to watch out for in terms of corner cuts?
I think the bigger issue around this track is probably track extending. There's places like the last corner where there's a lot of room to just use all that curb and go over the white line, as well as here out of the left-hander. So yeah, I think drivers will just need to watch their throttle coming out and need to be a bit more patient to make sure they won't get too many track extensions.
And indeed, in fact, speaking of track extensions, right there, that corner, the Mobile 1 curve at turn 11, that is actually one of the scarier corners, because the moment that you go off the AstroTurf and hit the gravel trap, your car is going to be trapped there. Like the left side of the car, the tires would just be digging into that gravel trap. You can't get out, so that's a thing to worry about. And here, the final corner as well. it's not too dangerous in terms of track extension because you can run through the AstroTurf. But if you run a bit too wide, all 4 tires off, you're gonna get your lap time uncounted, and that's probably another thing to watch out for. And also the first corner. First corner is also one of the trickier ones because you're gonna have to hit the curve on the inside and then try to hope that you don't go too wide to cancel your lifetime. You've probably seen that before, have you, Alistair? Especially with, like, if we're gonna go to some light cars like the Formula 3 cars, they can easily just power through that corner.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done it a few times when you hit that curve and you don't hit it quite right and the car's low, you know, it loves to bounce you off. So not only will they need to watch it during qualifying and getting their laps invalidated, but they will also need to watch it in the races as well, because it's very easy to hit a curb, bounce you out, maybe have contact with another driver, and at a high-speed corner like turn 1, it's pretty sketchy. Sketchy
indeed, and fortunately for the guys in cockpit, they don't have damage to worry about. So once they are looking at the damage indicator in our timing screens, there's no damage to worry about. So they can hit the curve all they want there, but the thing is though, there's a caveat. You can get away with trying to run through it fast enough so you could get a good exit speed. But as you can see there, Kelvin Pao taking it, he doesn't take that sausage over the inside, because in the classes that have damage, if you hit that, you're gonna get suspension damage, and that would definitely bork up your race, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. As you see a puff of smoke coming down to turn 2, I think someone snatched a break on their quali run, but watching Kelvin Pao here, you know, championship contender, he's gone purple in Sector 1, so it's looking good for the leader.
Indeed, and in fact that he improved his lap time. He was in 3rd, then now moved up to 2nd on the leaderboard. This is his 8th lap in practice, at least, because we're going to go through the qualifying in about 47 seconds. So 9/10 right now, and he's about 900ths up. So this is one to watch out for. And unfortunately, we probably don't get to see the end of the lap because as we all know in race room, once the time is up, the session just ends. So we don't get to see what's the potential here, but there's shades of it. And again, Kelvin Pao and Janssen Villanueva are the guys to watch out for this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Through the Mercedes-Benz Arena, this is one of the newest sections of the Hockenheimring, which was built back in 2002. Nothing much has changed since then, apart from some of the extensions to the first corner, especially given the fact that it used to be just a sea of gravel, and once you get into the barriers, you're out. So that's a corner that has changed a lot from when your dad drove here back in 2002. Sorry, 2001. They used the old layout, and 2002. Right then, so we're coming to the end of practice. In fact, practice has ended, and unfortunately for Kelvin Pao, he would not be able to improve his lap times. In fact, his AI car would now peel off into the pits. There you go. And they'll get rest of the field as well. Whoever were on their flying laps will have to abort it. So, Janssen Villanueva, fastest in practice by 9/10 ahead of Kelvin Pao as we headed into qualifying. And this is not Kelvin Pao we're looking at, unfortunately, because we are switching cameras. There we go. That's Villanueva in the Lotus lookalike car. In fact, they are both driving the same car, so we might have a bit of confusion on who is who on track if we don't have the banners at the bottom. Now we're on Kelvin Pao. Alistair, you can take a lap around the circuit.
Oh, lap around the circuit, light braking here into turn 1, carry as much apex speed as possible, and early on the power for this decently long straight. Also DRS zone, I believe, in Formula 1. And then coming down to turn 2, it's a bit of a hairpin. You need to brake late, get the car rotated, make sure on the exit you're a bit over to the right to prepare yourself for the left-hander. It's very crucial to be as close to full throttle or just feathering the throttle through there, so you're carrying as much speed onto the main back straight of the track. It's the longest straight on the circuit, and it comes down to a very, very heavy braking zone hairpin. This hairpin's really tight, and I think it's probably one of the biggest places for overtaking, but yeah, as you can see that it tightens up a bit on the exit, especially with the runoff and the sausage curb there, so it's very easy to shove cars off or even have contact there. Now they're coming onto this flat right-hander. I think in these cars it might be a small lift. Nicely taken. You need to get over to the right for the braking into the Mercedes-Benz complex, where you come into the tight 90-degree left, get the car back over to the left, lift early, and then get onto the throttle as you hit the apex. Use all the road on the exit, and then now you just got to prepare for this really, really quick right-hander. You have to be quite calm and tame through here, because you don't want to be running wide onto the gravel, as you can see. And then now into this tight hairpin again, very cambered, you know, you want to stick low into the corner so the corner will kind of carry you around. And then this flat left-right chicane, and then the double right-hander of the second and last corner. You have to roll a lot of speed, you know, you can't really get on the power or brake too late, otherwise it's very easy to overcook it. But it looks like Kelvin Pao's done well, and he's early on the throttle. This is going to be a good lap.
And across the line he goes. It's a 46.7. So it is actually matching the lap time that was set just now by Janssen Villanueva. Speaking of Villanueva, here he is now coming through the final corner where he's on the inset. Is he going to come across the line and set a faster time than Kelvin? Looks like it, and it is by only about 4/10 ahead of Shrii Murugan. In fact, he's actually 6/10 ahead of Kelvin Pao. So Murugan then, the surprise package at the moment in qualifying at least, splitting up the perennial front runners in the copper class from the first round at least. Here's Murugan now. He has restarted his lap, so he's ready to go for a second one and presumably the final one as well, unless he stuffs this up and he actually can go back to start again. So Murugan, the one to watch out for this qualifying session at least. He can actually be the surprise package for this round, don't you think, Alistair?
Yeah, I remember watching Shrii Murugan a bit last Global Edition. I remember him having little bits of pace, but struggles to find a bit of consistency. But I know that he's under Stratos, so I'm sure James Russell will be there helping him all the way.
Yep, indeed. And he was a bit rough around the edges. In fact, he was quite a loose cannon in the first couple of seasons, but he has popped up since then. Just needs to get the results in, as you said, and probably could mount something serious, especially with some good points on hand as we go through the rest of the field as they start out their second or presumably third laps, because we saw just now Murugan had to abandon that lap, so he's starting his final ever lap here as we look at Sage Nico wearing the Spider-Man shirt, I see. So kind of think of it, he looks uncannily like what a Peter Parker character would look like.
Yeah, maybe in a few years he could get cast today.
Indeed, as he comes into the hairpin at turn 6, this is where the old circuit and the new circuit come together. Behind the forest there is where the old Hockenheimring literally was just a flat out power play through the forest, and they come around through the northern loop and back into the circuit. This is the modern part of the circuit where the Mercedes-Benz Arena has been around since 2002. A bit of a wiggle there from Sage Nico. Smooth on the throttle though, and look at that again. A lot of input he's putting on there. 700ths off in the first sector, 5/10ths off in the second. That will put him third at the moment, in between Kelvin Pao and Shrii Murugan. If he could keep the lap up, as Villanueva is still 4/10ths up, and the Filipino guys have actually come in to support their man who's on pole right now, Janssen Villanueva. Gav Quinton says SpongeBob power, so I think it's a bit of a reference to the fact that he probably likes SpongeBob. And of course, Darryl Brady comes in as well, so this might be an in-joke among the Filipinos. Nuroiza Horairo says, let's go Hassan. Jamil Hassan, who's pretty much a rookie in eRacing, is there in 22nd place, about 6 seconds off. He could probably be on another lap to improve it. So lots of drivers here right now looking to improve their lap times. And opposite to improvement, it looks like Lim Nicky's slowing a bit, because that doesn't look like a fast lap at all. And 51 seconds, yep, he's aborting that lap. So unfortunately for Nicky, he will not be improving his 6th place. He's just about 5 thousandths ahead of Sage Nico. And we'll be looking around for the drivers as Muhammad Ilyas here, the driver who finished in, well, he actually retired from the second race last time out at the Red Bull Ring. He'll be looking to improve on that one. Ilyas did finish in 9th, so he'll be looking to score points here at the Hockenheimring.
Awesome effort by Andre Janssen, taking pole by over 4/10ths. You know, that's a pretty impressive margin of for a competitive field. We can see that like from 6th to 9th, it's only a 10th difference.
Yep, indeed. And we run through the rest of the field. Pao 3rd, Watanabe 4th. Brandon Watanabe, who also was one of the fastest drivers last time out at the Red Bull Ring, qualified 2nd, of course. Condrolochis, a good performance for him to put points on the board for this season. Brian Chua, that's a surprise, because he struggled in that first round. So glad to see that this guy is improving as well. He's up to 6th, 7th Lim Nicky, 8th Sage Nico, 9th Shaun Seah, and 10th Chin Wei Rin. So that's the top 10 for the second ever round for the Copper class for the brand new season 5 here of Copper of the Global Edition. So then, Alistair, I did ask this question to you before. You're looking forward to the Copper class. Are you going to see a lot of incidents?
I think previous experiences with commentating on Copper will tell me 100%. But I'm ready for it, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see what these guys can do.
Can't wait as well, as we have now 30 seconds left on the clock here. All the drivers, well, apart from the man who's supposed to be in 6th place right now, which was actually Brian Chua. So I don't know where Brian went, because he should be there, right? There he is, thankfully, everyone has made it to the grid. So 15 seconds left to go. Not much in the way of strategy, of course, because there's no fuel and there's no tire wear. So they can just go all out for the two 15-minute races that's going to come up after this here at the Hockenheimring. So watch for the lights then. They will start now. As you can hear the revs rise. Janssen Villanueva waiting for the lights here. He'll be the race leader coming to the first turn. Shrii Murugan alongside him. It's a bit of a long haul, but we're underway at last here for the copper class, race 1, round 2 at the Hockenheimring, and it's a good start for Janssen Villanueva, but Shrii Murugan gets an even better one, and he takes the lead coming to the first corner. Shrii Murugan leads here at the Hockenheimring as Kelvin Pao makes also a jump on Villanueva. He's up to second as Villanueva now tries to go through the inside. Kelvin Pao goes onto the inside of Shrii Murugan, and he takes the lead as well. So the lead changes twice in the first 2 corners, but that is the crucial thing for Kelvin Pao because he has his nearest challenger for this round and indeed in the championship right behind him. This is going to be a real contest for the lead of the race as he comes out now to the hairpin. Murugan on the inside, Kelvin Pao in the middle of the circuit. He tries to defend. Pao knows he has to hold on to his brakes long enough to prevent Murugan from overtaking, but now it's too late. Murugan is in the lead as multiple drivers are off the track and having collisions as Murugan gets a slowdown penalty. Kelvin Pao does, and where does that put Villanueva? Right behind. Villanueva does attack Kelvin Pao. Kelvin Pao is slow momentarily for a second to get rid of the penalty as Nicky now challenges as well for 3rd place. Nicky goes onto the inside of Villanueva. Kelvin Pao somehow manages to hold on to 2nd, and Nicky is up to 3rd. So Malaysians 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with the surprise leader Shrii Murugan.
Incredible start by Shrii Murugan. I thought he lost it at turn 2, but he managed to claw it back. And Nicky, great start from I think 7th position on the grid or 8th position. So yeah. Oh, as Kelvin Pao goes down the inside, or is that Andre?
Oh, that's actually Villanueva. Villanueva actually comes on the inside there at the stadium section. The corner where Vettel, of course, crashed.
Leader's gone off.
Oh, Murugan off a bit, and Villanueva comes up to 2nd. This is a good battle for the lead here, but Kelvin Pao then manages to ease it up a bit, and he's now 8/10 ahead of Villanueva as they complete the first lap.
That was really odd. You just saw Shrii Murugan kind of pull over to the left at the penultimate corner and kind of let these two through. I wonder what happened there, but now you see Kelvin Pao trying to pull away from Andre, and yeah, really tight top 3 here. Nicky's just gone past Shrii Murugan, and we'll just see what happens at the end of this straight. Andre's got an excellent toe, and Shrii is fighting Nicky now.
Meanwhile, this is actually between Nicky and Shrii Murugan. Nicky has gotten ahead of Murugan, but Murugan's not going to give it up. He's going to try to do the same thing that he did to Kelvin Pao at lap 1. And through all of that, Brandon Watanabe goes onto the inside as well. This is going to end in tears for somebody. Murugan goes very wide. Nicky gets swallowed up by 3 cars in between. And through all that, Shaun Seah, 4 wide coming up to the final sector. Through then, turn 7, up to the Mercedes-Benz Arena, turn 8. Nicky then loses 2 positions. Oh, Brandon Watanabe gets hit by Shrii Murugan. And luckily for him, there will be no damage. Brian Chua will be the big beneficiary of that. But Nicky gets through and he's back up to 3rd. Murugan involved in the wars there. Wow, and through all of that, Shaun Seah now is going to be the big beneficiary as well. He's going to try to get 3rd place and his first podium of the season against Nicky. Nicky then will try to hold firm and he sticks it around the outside, holds the middle of the track too. Oh, he's been hit! Nicky's been hit and he's into the barriers. He's straight into the wall, like Sebastian Vettel, albeit a bit on the further to the right than he was in 2018.
Oh, you gotta feel for Nicky there. He had such an excellent start and he didn't really put a foot wrong, but the driver behind seemed to just miss his braking a bit.
Yeah, that was actually Shaun Seah. Shaun Seah actually probably didn't expect Nicky to brake early as Janssen Villanueva says the fastest lap of the race of 47.4. He's on the charge, pursuing the rear end of Kelvin Pao. But we're looking back at Shaun Seah here. You might think that, oh, there's another car spinning in the background. Looks like Muhammad Elias. Elias has been, he's been spun around, and now he's going to lose a lot of positions as more and more cars there. I think I just saw for a second that there was another car in the grass there, Alistair.
Yeah, everyone seems to be a bit agitated, I suppose. They kind of need to calm down a bit, They're on the 3rd, 4th lap. Start getting a rhythm, focus on the go ahead and start making the right moves. They just seem a bit anxious. As Shrii Murugan's going to try it down the inside here again.
And this time is in the inside of Kenneth Wong. Right, Kenneth, of course, second to championship right now. Brian Chua is also getting into the action as Brian gets a slowdown penalty with warning for his troubles there. He's going to have to let go now side by side between the Singaporean and Malaysian. Kenneth Wong on the inside. He's going to become the inside coming through the Mercedes-Benz arena. Murugan holds his line, but I think that would be futile because Murugan doesn't have the line, or does he? Ooh. Yeah, he holds it somehow. Kenneth Wong then wasn't aggressive enough to get the move done, and now he's going to be back in the clutches of Brian Chua here as all four of these drivers, including Brandon Watanabe, who's recovering from that rather big hit, back to battle for P4 on the circuit.
Yeah, that was very nicely held by Shrii Murugan around the outside of Kenneth Wong. Now he's got to try and push for the top two, who are probably fighting by now and bleeding a bit of lap time.
Indeed, and in fact, fastest lap time is currently held by Janssen Villanueva with a 47.4 that we saw at the start of the lap just now. And if anything, the gap is now closer. In fact, it's now a tenth between both Pao and Villanueva. So the Filipinos then might be on the edge of their seats here to see their man challenge for the lead in the copper class and probably take his first win of the season to make up for the rather well, not to say disappointment, but he could have actually won that first race as well. And he already has a fast lap to his lane. Here we are back to the battle between first and second as Chin Wei Ren gets a stop and go penalty, I think, or was it a drive-through penalty? Not sure what was that, but yeah, this is now gonna be the battle we're gonna watch out for the next 9 minutes. But it's kind of amazing how 50 minutes can go by so quickly as Villanueva sets another fastest lap of 46.5. So it's now 9 tenths of a difference there he's making up as Murugan gets ahead of Kenneth Wong. And we are having server issues, I think, because the cars are disappearing.
I think Shree's lost connection.
Is it Shrii or is it the rest of it? No, it's the...
Oh no, we're back.
It's the same thing that we had during the E1 race. So apologies there for anyone who is keenly following Shrii Murugan as we are back here to the front of the grid. Janssen Villanueva battling with Kelvin Pao. 3 tenths in it between those two drivers. And the gap just now at the line was only about a tenth. So Villanueva might have tried to move somewhere that forced him. He tried to force through a move on Kelvin Pao, but that didn't work. And now he just lost a bit of time. As we are looking here, coming through the final sector, through the Sachs curve, turn 13. And I hope Lim Nicky actually just recovered from that one. Yep, he's in 11th, so he managed to not get stuck in the sand pit. So he is now going to be scoring points. He'll be starting further up, and I'm not sure how far the reverse grid have been turned around. So it could be 12th place like last time, 10th place like last time. There's going to be starting a reverse grid poll. We'll be keeping an eye out for that. As now, through another lap, go through the drivers. We're on lap 5 now of this race, and if anything, it seems to be calmer now, Alistair.
Yeah, it does look a bit calmer. People have kind of spread out the gap a little bit. Championship leader Pao here in the lead does seem like he has a bit of damage on the front end, and maybe that could be the reason why he's bleeding a little bit of lap time. But he's only got to defend for 7 more minutes against a charging Andre.
Yeah, but he's got seems to have the pace, and yes, practice session times did seem to be an indicator. Villanueva was fastest, but it's just that he couldn't get the jump on at the. In fact, he couldn't get a good start at the line just now to hold off Murugan, and now he has to play catch up. In this case, he only lost 2 positions. He got Murugan out of the way. Murugan's now 4 seconds behind these two. This is now a straight fight for the lead. Pao then is under severe pressure then to try and clear the championship lead. Granted, he will still be the championship leader by the end of race 1 at least, because his nearest rival Kenneth Wong is only in 4th place, as Villanueva then tries every which way he can to get ahead of the Malaysian, but it's going to be a tall order here. Kelvin Pao seems to be very good defending, as meanwhile we're looking further behind behind the rostrum actually is Brian Chua in 5th place. So Brian is going to be on course for his first points of the season. Dimas Mohammed and Sage Nico further behind here in the top 10 positions. Oh, something happened to the server again.
I'm getting a bit of V1 PTSD, but hopefully it clears up a little bit.
Non-flashbacks for some people. I mean, there'll be non-flashback for you, Alistair, because I think you were taken out big time during
Let's not talk about it.
Alright, let's we'll do this move, the sooner we move on, the less we talk about it is. Here we go then, Peter Parker, or Sage Nico, as we should call him, chasing the back of Brian Chua. In fact, Brian lost a bit of time there. In fact, I think he might have been hit as well, because he's lost position to Dimas Mohammed, so he was up to 5th. Probably he was in a collision for Brandon Watanabe, but whatever it is, he's now dropped back to 7th place, so he's gonna have to do the work all over again. Meanwhile, speaking of recovery jobs, here's Lim Nicky. Nicky now attacking the back of Azmi Arifin. So Lim Nicky, again, we're gonna have to deal with this all day, I think. So apologies for that one, as we're back to the proper battle then. For the lead of the race, Janssen Villanueva and Kelvin Pao. We're about 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this race. It's still not over by a long shot, as deep into the braking area at the hairpin goes Villanueva. Villanueva trying every way he can, but it seems to be that, apart from stating the obvious, because these are the exact same cars, we're running specs, almost like a spec series here. They're all the same brands, but it's pretty much equal then. Kelvin Pao just seems to be able to hold off Villanueva by virtue of the fact that he is driving so well at the front here to avoid getting overtaken by a really fast charging Filipino, as that's not an actual spin, I think. Again, it's just the exact same areas that we seem to be having a bit of lag issues, so apologies for that to the viewers who are watching this. This is something that is out of our control, and unfortunately has struck again, something that was actually seen in E1, as Alex Chia rightfully puts it, E1 PTSD, as what Alistair said. So yeah, oh, not again, he's going into... If that was a proper spin, that would be the end of the race for Villanueva. So then, skipping the commercial break short, because we just came back where the server is actually back to being stabilized, and nothing much has changed actually. It's still 3 times between Kelvin Pao and Janssen Villanueva. Shrii Murugan still 3rd and Kenneth Wong 4th, with Brandon Watanabe 5th. So all has not changed. In fact, up to the 8th place guy currently, which is Sage Nico, nothing much has changed actually. As we look at now, the battle between Kenneth Wong and Brandon Watanabe. Wong then cutting the curve big time, and will that be actually a warning? No, it won't. In fact, he's actually still going for it. He's up to 4th. Brandon Watanabe drops to 5th, as now we're into probably what could be said this could be the final lap. Yes, it is. About 1 minute and 7 left. It is going to be the final lap next time by. So Kelvin Pao then has only 1 lap to go here to hold on to the lead, and indeed the race win. A 2nd for the season here in the bronze class.
Yeah, Kelvin Pao hasn't got much of a gap, but Andre seems to be making the same mistake a bit repetitively. You know, he's coming down to turn 2, outbraking himself a little, and then the gap reopens so he can't overtake into that long back straight hairpin. It's his last shot now, and we'll see if he gets it right into turn 4. But yeah, he's just got to be a bit more patient, and I think he might have the win.
Ooh, then here we go. Last lap between Kelvin Pao and Janssen Villanueva. We'll be mentioning these guys' names a lot over the past 15 minutes, in fact 49 minutes to go. It's a drive-through penalty for Kenneth Wong, ignoring the slowdown warnings. So he did actually cut that chicane, and it has cost him dearly. So it's going to drop it all the way behind the top 10 even, because as a drive-through penalty, it's going to be a long time. There we go, Stuart's decision. Kenneth Wong, and the guy who ran in second, the guy who's running in second in the championship right now will fall even further behind because of that. But we'd have to mind that, as now here comes Kelvin Pao holding onto the inside. Janssen Villanueva around the outside. Kelvin Pao holds firm, and he still holds on second first. But wait, he goes a bit wide there. It's going to be a side-by-side battle to the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Here we go then. The cars touch. Pao, Villanueva, there's nothing between them. It's the gap we cannot even have to mention anymore. It's only 500s, but it's got to be close here all the way to the line. Coming through the Mercedes-Benz Arena, Kelvin Pao then, who has been leading since he took over from Shrii Murugan at the start of the race, and held off superbly well, and is still ahead of Janssen Villanueva. Villanueva gave it his all. He has been absolutely on it. He was fastest in the qualifying session and the practice sessions, and unfortunately, just like Valtteri Bottas, it's not going to amount to anything in the first race. At least it's going to be a second. He will start ahead of Kelvin Pao in the second race, but how he would dearly love to win here today. Coming through the final sector then, there's no way to overtake now unless there's a massive mistake for Kelvin Pao in the final corner. Pao holds on, and it's going to be an absolutely brilliant victory here for the Malaysian. You can see there he's sweating. It's going to be a drag race across the line. He holds him off there, but it's going to be victory to Kelvin Pao. Oh, look at the relief on his face. He is absolutely over the moon. That is, I think his knuckles are sweating so much that he's tapping the back of his neck there. It's just, oh, he needs to relieve himself after that. That was an absolutely amazing race.
Tears of joy. after taking the win after such a close margin. I've been watching the time clock down, and he's been holding him back for like 10 minutes now. So brilliant job by championship leader Kelvin Pao, and he'll be smiling even more that his next championship competitor has got a drive-through penalty on the last lap.
And he's got disqualified.
He's got disqualified.
So Kenneth Wong is disqualified from the race. So disappointing race for Kenneth Wong. He's going to start right at the back for race 2. And you can see there, Villanueva looks pretty calm actually. I would be a bit disappointed to actually lose the race that close, especially the fact that you were the fastest car, but he looks absolutely calm, and I think with every reason to, because he's got a good haul of points and indeed the fastest lap as well, along to add to the pole position. So yeah, he has a lot of reasons to smile about. And the second place, this second place means that he will move up to second in the championship, because McGregor finished 8th as well. So a good haul of points, and it is an early sign that he can actually challenge for the championship. Does it, won't he, Alex? Sorry, Alistair.
Absolutely. He's shown his pace here in round 2 of Global Edition 5, and you know, if he can keep this pace up throughout the season, we're going to have a very close fight between Kelvin Pao and Janssen Villanueva.
Indeed. And we're looking now to wait for the provisional results to come in, because, mind you, some of the cars have not finished the race yet, and indeed, let's hope that some of the cars that were in the race were not taken out by some of the lag issues. Here we go. Provisional results then. Kelvin Pao, the winner of this absolutely amazing bronze race, ahead of Janssen Villanueva, who gave it his all, but he was just short by only a 10th. At the line, Murugan 3rd, Watanabe 4th, Dimas Mohammed 5th, Sage Nico 6th, 7th is Brian Chua, who dropped back after finding in the top 5 for quite a while. John McGregor 8th, 9th Isaac Finn, and 10th was Keith Moe. So Keith Moe scores his first points of the season as well. Right then, so that's race 1 out of the way, and hopefully we don't have any more issues with the, indeed, not the stream, because the stream ran well, but hopefully there will be no server issues for the second race, Alistair, because that was quite an amazing race that we could have been robbed if we missed that one.
Yeah, lucky we could come back for those last couple laps. Server looks like it was acting alright though, so hopefully here in race 2 will be running pretty smooth.
Right then, so 27 seconds left to go here. We got almost all the cars on the track right now, because we're missing the guy who's supposed to be running up at the front. Don't know where he, don't know who qualified on pole, because that looks like Sage Nico on pole. Ji Hong?
Am I correct? Or was it
no, it's
Sean?
actually Ji Hong is on pole.
Yeah.
So Ji Hong on pole then. So it is the top 12 that get reversed around. Ji Hong starts, Shaun Seah in second. As we wait for the red lights to go out, they go out now. Oh, and Ji Hong just boxed the start, and Shaun Seah gets an absolute blinder. He takes the early advantage and goes into the lead. Keith Moe, the kid who's about 8 years old, has taken second place with Isaac Finn 3rd. This is going to be a drag race up to turn 3, so turn 2 and 3 and 4. And who's going to be bravest on the brakes? Shaun Seah is, and he holds on to the lead. Keith Moe hangs it around the outside, and he stays in second. Now he's gonna try to go for the lead here early on. That would be amazing, because I think from Alex's account, and indeed from the training center's account, this is only his only his second ever competitive league race, and he's trying to go for the win. Well, here he is right now on the inset. He's absolutely focused as he comes out now to the hairpin. Isaac Finn tries to dink one on the inside, but nope, no how doing that. Oh, somebody else does, and it's Dimas Mohammed rams into the back of Isaac Finn. That's gonna be a steward's inquiry after that. But the collision there actually gives a lot of breathing space to Keith Moe, who's now gonna be having a clear way to the front of the grid. He'll try to attack Shaun Seah for the lead.
Yeah, great start by Shaun Seah. He really took advantage of the pole instead of having a terrible start, and Keith Moe's looking good as well. Unlucky for Azmi Arifin, you know, he got up into turn 3, but let's see if he can try and recover. Now, I'm curious about the charging guys behind who were 1-2 in the race previously and setting the pace. Where are they now?
Oh, well, actually that might have been one of them, because that was Villanueva. Yes, it was Villanueva. He actually lost it coming into the stadium section, and he got whacked by the cars, and he's going to go all the way back. In fact, that was another driver that got involved. It's Hermano Ramadan. That's Villanueva, and we're missing one car right now, so unfortunately we don't know who that is. It might have been Lim Nicky, because Lim Nicky is actually up to 13th, so he's in the race. I thought that we lost one car because there were 22 at the start, but whatever it is, that's beside the point. Shaun Seah then has pulled a 1.6 second gap ahead of Keith Moe, who's running so well in second, but he's under huge pressure then from Dimas Mohammed, who knocked Azmi Arifin out of the way to get that 3rd place. As he comes out to the inside, has Dimas got the move done? No. Keith Moe hangs it around the outside and survives for now.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned the 1-2 pairing from earlier, because I think that counts as my first commentary curse. Huh? Is that right?
Which one?
Anyway.
Sorry,
forget about it.
Because I was really into
looking at the fight further back, we can see Azmi Arfin's kind of trapped in a three-way battle.
Oh, well, Dimas Muhammad
he tried to move.
Did the exact same thing that he tried during the first lap, trying to overtake Azmi Arfin, and this time he actually sent himself out to Narnia, or somewhere in Baden-Württemberg. So Dimas Muhammad then has to regather himself up. Basically, he's behind yet another kid. Oh, he hits the back of stage, Nico. He has to watch out because these guys also have incident points to worry about. So Dimas then doing yet another driver in the space of 2 laps, hitting the back of him, trying to overtake it. He's laughing about it now, but probably he won't be laughing if he knows that his incident points has increased.
Yeah, yeah, it's the second time he's run up behind as he's gone into the gravel now. Oh, it's gonna cost him a lot of time.
And a bit of an unsafe entry is further behind. Is that Kelvin Pao? Because that's one of the Lotus lookalike cars as... Kelvin actually goes under the inside. Yeah, Kelvin dives the inside of Brian Chua and nearly takes Dimas Muhammad as well. So Kelvin is the only driver among the guys at the front to have actually recovered from starting at the back. There's Dimas Muhammad then, actually wearing an all-black shirt, so he's probably a Kiwi at one point in his life, so he's supporting that. But either way, Dimas Muhammad lucky to survive going off into the gravel trap there. As we did mention earlier during qualifying that if you go off there, you're gonna get your car trapped, and he did get his car trapped somewhat. Got back on the track into the path of oncoming cars, but luckily he didn't get collected by anybody. As up in front, is that Shaun Seah? No, that's not Shaun Seah. That's actually Sage Nico battling with Keemo.
2 very young drivers fighting it out. But yes, going back to Dimas, I think he's looking a little bit erratic, don't you think, Cameron? He's got to calm it down a little bit, especially with so many cars around him. But let's take a look at Sage Nico. Is he going to try and move down the inside on Keith Mo? He's lined it up, but a bit early on the brakes.
Yep, and he's thinking about swimming. But look at how close he has to drive. I think because the simulator rig might be a bit too long for him, so he's driving absolutely close to the screen to try and turn the car. And he is driving with direct drive unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and I can confirm when he does come down to the training simulator, he has all the cushions. So I think he's just struggling to reach the pedals a little bit.
And probably trying to do a bit of a tucking in technique like what karters would do, but unfortunately that will not work in the simulator rig, at least because there's no gravity physics involved to do that one. As now Keith Mo on the outside, Sage Nico on the inside. Sage will make the move mistake. Yes, he does, through the Mobile 1 curve at turn 11, and he does make the mistake. Oh, they hit each other, I think. Oh, that was just a momentary lag. That will be very disappointing for Keith Mo if he was taking out that in a very promising position right there.
Yeah, no, these two have been very respectful with each other, so I got a bit worried there for a second, but yeah, great move by Nico, and Keith kind of lost his rhythm for a bit. Let's see if he can get it back. But Kelvin Pao 7th place is kind of close. Oh, Kelvin Pao's out.
That's Kelvin, isn't it? Yeah, that is Kelvin Pao. He might have been hit by the back, at the back from Brian Chua, and that's not terminal damage. That's just probably momentum loss as he's being swallowed by other drivers there for positions. Chen Wei Ran and Shrii Murugan being the other drivers who are the beneficiary of that. And Azmi Arifin we're looking at right now might have been the guy involved as well, because he was right in between him and Brian Chua. So, oh, another car spins. That might have been Dimas, Brandon. No, that wasn't Brandon, wasn't it? That was actually Kenneth Wong. Oh, that's a disappointing weekend for him, isn't it? Recovering from that disqualification in that first race, now he's just been sent all the way to the back. He's got to do it all over again in the final 9 minutes, and by the looks of it, it won't be no points for him for this round.
Shrii Murugan going down the inside.
And Murugan goes on the inside. Brandon Watanabe really moved as
nicely.
Further behind there. Somebody nearly going wide. That was actually Chen Wei Ran as we're looking at Brandon Watanabe.
And
He's been in worse. What?
Calvin Pao got the double overtake there, now looking down the inside of Brandon Watanabe.
Oh, indeed. And in fact, that Brandon there is now going to have to be looking at his mirrors. But because Calvin is just on the recovery drive, he has the pace to be sticking it to the front. But unfortunately, some mistakes have actually cost him that. And that big whack into the barriers at the end of the lap, at the Sud curve, into the barrier, almost Timo Glock style, albeit not facing backwards, has actually stalled his momentum a bit. As McGregor now, John McGregor, who was the early pace setter at the front during the first round at the Red Bull Ring, is up to third, having overtaken having overtaken Kimo. So then, just only catching breath a bit.
Yeah, take a
Okay.
breath, Ammo. You've been talking a lot of excitement going on in the second race here of Copper Class. But as the drivers kind of space out, we'll probably be seeing the pace pick up a little bit more and seeing fewer moves. But Shaun Seah and Sage Nico pulling away from the field a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, indeed. In fact, that 2 seconds in it between Nico and McGregor. In fact, a further 3 seconds differential between Shaun Seah and Sage Nico. So Seah then, barring from an absolute big mistake that is gonna be on his mind if he was to make it. Actually, he wouldn't want to make it actually in the final 7 minutes that remain while having a big gap, 3.9 seconds in fact, coming up to the hairpin. He's looking good right now. In fact, he's got his pseudo teammate because they're running pretty much the same colors, the Gulf colors here on these cars. First and second at the moment, Shaun Seah with Sage Nico in second, and third is John McGregor. So a causeway 1, 2, 3 right now with Dimas Muhammad, the rather loose cannon for this race, shall we say, because he was involved in the wars at the start, especially with the fact that he collided with not only Sage Nico, he also collided with Azmi Arifin trying to get in position as well.
Yeah, and he's just gone past Keith Moe for 4th place, and he's going to try hunting down John McGregor for that final podium spot. So that's another battle to look out for. And going a bit back for the championship leaders, Kelvin Pao's lost a place, Kenneth Wong is down in 18th. So yeah, the championship's a bit spread out at the moment, but none of them are really getting any points, surprisingly.
Well, John McGregor is third in the championship coming into this round at least. He'll be looking to actually get a good smattering of points by the time that we go to the next round, wherever it is. He'll be looking good here right now as we now look at John McGregor. He wasn't on the podium in that first race, but wow, he would be looking to actually get a good amount of points. In fact, he finished 8th in that first race, so that's why he started further up on the grid for the second one. So, third place right now. Granted, it's not going to score as many points as in the first race because points all go all the way only to the top 10. But any point scoring positions right now is crucial, especially if you want to mount a title challenge, don't you think, Alistair?
Oh, for sure. Points are points. You want to get as many as you can, and even if you're finishing for 1, it's something, you know. As you can see, it's a bit anything can happen basically. So yes, Kelvin's in 9th, but that's still points to keep away from John.
Indeed, and the fact that the 2 points that are scored for 9th place right now might, you never know, might become crucial by the end of the season. So Kelvin then doing an absolutely brilliant recovery job to get back up to point scoring positions. In fact, 10th is the last place. He's in front of Adam Condroloches. So Condroloches now, oh, never mind. Villanueva has actually got them through. So, or is he? No, they're actually swapping positions around. So
nice little battle going on over there.
yeah, it is. Very good battles going all around, and in fact, even at the cusp of the last points playing positions, it's still battles being waged here to try and gain that valuable championship points to add to your championship tally. As now, Keith Moe, a struggling Keith Moe, who's running up at second at the start of the race, is dropping like a stone here. He's being swallowed up by the rest of the field. In fact, he's got 7th, 8th, and 9th right behind him, with one of them being Shrii Murugan. Murugan tries to go for the inside, coming through the Mobile 1 curve, but nothing do it there. As is that Dimas Mama? Or is that no? That's actually Chin Wei Ren. So Wei Ren goes to the inside of Brandon Watanabe. Watanabe then loses position. Oh, big hit from Murugan there at the back of Keith Moe. Moe then goes wide through the drag strip that caught a lot of people up back in 2019 in Formula 1. Luckily, it's not wet here today. He survives. But that white line has actually stolen momentum, and now Murugan's trying to attack him coming through the north curve. Oh, that's very brave. No, you wouldn't want to touch the Sashiko on the inside there, Alistair.
Yeah, not at all. You know, that can send you up with your front wheels off the ground, meaning you can't turn. As they're 3 wide now again. 4 wide.
Whoa.
Oh,
Chin Wei Ren
argy-bargy.
Yeah, Chin Wei Ren splitting up between Shrii Murugan and Keith Moe. With all the amount of collisions that they have there, you might be worried that one of them might be sent into the pit lane for disqualification due to collision warning penalties, and that was luckily not the case for any of the drivers because that was a lot of big hits there, don't you think?
Yeah, and we can tell from Keith Moe's face, he's either not impressed or just does not care about anyone's good well-being. I think I was right on the second one as he takes out 2 cars there.
Whoa. Luckily, he didn't take out anyone bigger than that because we saw, remember, in the first ever race of the W Series, Kimi Lainen, the Finnish driver, she literally barged through one or two drivers out of the way and retired from the race, apologetic afterwards. So Keith Moe on the flip side, is not exactly apologetic, not at this moment in time at least. And look at that, the amount of the amount of lock that he has to put on the steering wheel to turn that car. He is really on it, isn't he?
Oh, 100%. Really fighting for it.
Now then, through the stadium section here for the 7th time. Keith Moore on the outside. Brett this now, he's battling Brett. Oh, Shrii Murugan goes off, and he goes exactly off like Sebastian Vettel, but luckily not into the barriers. He's just in the sand. And out of all of that, a few drivers have actually benefited from that. One of them is Andrew Controlochis. Controlochis now is at the back of Brandon Watanabe with Keith Moore just in front of him. In fact, I thought it was Kelvin Pao, but it's actually Andre Janssen Villanueva. Villanueva is now trying to attack Keith Moore for 6th place. Does he get moved down at the North Curve? Oh, he's side by side. Keith Moore then very brave on the brakes. He is absolutely monstering that car around because I've been noticing now for the last 13 and 14 minutes or so, he has actually been brave to hold around the outside and keep that position.
Absolutely. Keith has been doing very well, you know. He's showing an amount of aggression, which is making the drivers behind him kind of rethink their moves on him. And with 1 minute, so I guess 2 more laps to go, that's exactly what he needs to do. He just got to watch out a bit for the points on disqualification and not do anything too illegal that could cause a post-race penalty.
Well, 3 wide there between the drivers behind Keith Moore and Villanueva. In fact, that move was almost done there by Controlochis on Brandon Watanabe, but Kelvin Pao will try to actually nick both of them as well, as we are now approaching the final lap next time by. Keith Moore then looking in his mirrors. This will be good for him because he actually has scored points already, 6th position. No matter what happens here, it has been a good run for him to score points in this round, as Kelvin Pao then has been swallowed up by the other 2 drivers. In fact, Lim Nicky, a recurring Lim Nicky, who retired from that first race, is up to 10th and in final point positions. While through all of that, here comes Villanueva onto the inside of Keith Moore. Moore holds it around the outside. Has he actually held on to it? He actually went wide. Yes, he did. He's gone wide. Now he's going to be attacked by Brandon Watanabe and Controlochis. Watanabe goes around the outside at the Sachs curve. Does he get moved on? No. Controlochis tries to attack as well. Villanueva has actually streaked away from these 2. Keith Moore dropping like a stone. Now he's in 7th. He's just going to get a handful of points. But it has been an absolutely heroic drive here for him. He has done so well to hold off some more seasoned drivers here.
Yes, he has. He's driven very smart. Going on to the last lap now, we're probably going to see, it's a very high pressure situation. We might see a really bad mistake here as they go too wide and, smashing
Speaking of mistakes, there we go. That's Lim Nicky spun. Nicky has spun into the barriers. In fact, I think he's stuck there for a while. There is a gravel trap there, so unfortunately no points for Nicky. We go back up to the battle then for P7. Sorry to cut you up there, Alistair. That was something that was happening while you were explaining about it.
Yeah, Nicky again, just a bit unlucky this round, but you know, he's picked up his pace and he's showed that for round 3 he could definitely be a strong contender.
Indeed, he'll try to come back stronger on round 3, wherever it is, because we are not sure right now because the calendar has decided it might follow you one. We'll have to consult Alex with that one because didn't see the calendar. But anyway, further behind us, Reynaldo Julie fighting in 13th against Jacob Neethling. Neethling on the inside. Julie on the outside. I think they're going to go all the way side by side towards the end of the race because we're going to have to go through to the front here. What's happened at the front? Well, Shaun Seah happened and he has been leading all the way since the start to hold off Keith Moore and the rest of the field as we are now coming through to the final few corners in this copper race, round 2 of the season. That has been absolutely action-packed here. Nico probably going to hold on for second here because McGregor's right behind him. But we're not going to focus on that for now because coming through the final corner, Shaun Seah through the drag strip, and he comes through here. He's going to take his first win of the season, barring if he actually has enough fuel because he's slowed up completely. There we go. Shaun Seah holds on, takes the win. A first for him for the season. Sage Nico does hold on to second. Third is John McGregor. Fourth, Dimas Mohammed. Fifth is Shrii Murugan. They have all been argy-bargy all the way through the grid. And Andre Janssen Villanueva does finish in 6th ahead of Brandon Watanabe, his fellow countryman. 8th will be Keith Moore. He won't be too disappointed with that. He's driven absolutely well to hold on to it. 9th, Andrew Controlochis. And 10th is Kelvin Pao. So the championship leader only scores 1 point in the second race. But that win in that first round might be crucial for him to stay in the lead of the championship.
Wow, Ammo. Great commentary, and Alistair. Just let's see if we can talk to Kelvin Pao. I wonder if he's listening to us. Kelvin Pao, I mean, he had such a great race 1. There you are waving to us. great race one. You held up some great pressure from Villanova to win that race. Talk us through your day.
Well, I can only say it's too close to comfort, I would say, because Andre is really a very fast driver. All I can do is just hope for the best and start, and then just keep doing defensive driving. Just try my best. Don't let him pass. So yeah, I'm satisfied for what I'm able to achieve today.
Okay, well, great racecraft. Obviously, the reverse grid race 2 was a bit more tricky. You found it hard getting up to the front?
Yeah, because at first I still can fight for the front, but after that, because too many traffics, and then what is bumping at each other, so my incident point also getting higher, so I think it's better. Yeah, okay. So I just slow down a bit, let them go.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Kelvin. Good talking to you.
So here's the provisional results for race 2 here for the Copper class. Round 2 of the season for their championship. Shaun Seah wins ahead of Sage Nico. John McGregor 3rd. Dimas Mohammed 4th. Shrii Murugan 5th. Andre Janssen Villanueva 6th. 7th. Brandon Watanabe. 8th. Keith Mo. 9th. Conroches and 10th. Kelvin Pao. So now we're going to end this particular class. We'll be going out to the bronze class after this in Formula 3 cars, which will be very interesting.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Things to be aware of organizing eRacing Championship without race room. First, no automated leaderboard would always be labor intensive. Elimination round would be the only way to filter the winners. Having the participants adhering to the schedule would be a huge test. We need to know the task will get bigger when participants increases. Time consuming. Organizing eRacing Championship without race room, it's all need run manually to take down the participants and eliminate them from first round group to final round group. Because it is manual human labor, there bound to be human error. Manual human labor would have a price tag for the man hours involved. New participants would never have chance. The eRacing clubs in the world will send their best racers to participate the race. But that means your championship exposure is just limited to the eRacing clubs. Why choose race room? R3E official championship have fully automated leaderboard. Participants can log in anytime to leave the fastest lap time within the qualifying period. Each of the racers already have their ranks with race room. Next, save time. You can have unlimited amounts of participants in a super short time to qualifying them to final race. Race room can cover unlimited amount of participants. We have a full automated esports ecosystem from qualifying leaderboard to broadcast AI. Besides, race room's free contents lets everyone can participate to the race.